Hi, honey. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Debbie. Thank you.
Looking pretty good there. I was go ahead, honey.
So do you. You look
Oh,
great.
you're so sweet. I was expecting your bouffant hair.
Oh, no.
No.
Bouffant in retirement until I go back to work,
I know it's horrid, isn't it?
which looks
Jeez.
like 2021 right now. So,
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, so what are you going to do in all that time?
I'm working on my book, which I've been procrastinating for 2 years.
Right.
My autobiography.
Yeah.
Many different entities have approached me about it, and then I'm also working on a couple of other scripts that
Oh,
I've been off and on. So I'm
right.
doing that for now.
Yay. So you're
Okay.
keeping busy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
to get that out of the way.
So now you were born in New York.
Westbury, Long Island.
Oh, wow. What, Westbury?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But now when did you go on? You were raised in the foster system, Bobby. When did you go into the foster system?
My mom said she received me about 6 months. She think I
Okay.
was 6 months old.
So you went in as a baby and then you were adopted at 6 months old?
I was never adopted. I just went into the foster home and stayed there until I turned 18.
Oh,
Never
okay.
was. I know. They never. She never adopted me. She raised over 400 children. So
Wow.
uh,
So
when
how
she
many kids did you grow up with? Were they living in the house with you at the same time?
always 10 at a time.
Wow.
But they came in. They came and went. So Mama had this policy. Her name was Annie Bell Davis. She was from Cordia, Georgia. She was a potato farmer. Her family.
Right.
Baby girl of 12 brothers, and six of them were preachers, and six of them were whatever. And so she had a strong hand, and she grew up. Her father was a preacher, so she grew up very Southern Baptist, strong Southern Baptist, strong hand. And she said she got her first kid in December 7th, 1941, which was the night of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And
Wow.
I came in the early 60s, and she says I was 6 months old, and she thought I was a white baby.
A
I had,
white baby.
yeah, she said I had blue eyes and no hair and white skin. And she said, why in the world they bring me this white baby? Because usually she get black kids.
Right.
But 6 months in, and she had another 6 months, and my color started changing, and my eyes turned brown. So um, it was funny because she never told me that story till I had my first kid, which is Robert Jr. And I was married to a black woman at the time, and
Right.
when my son came out, he was white with blue eyes. And the
Wow.
doctor, I never forget, the doctor looked at the baby and goes, "You have a boy?" Like that. The baby, and I'm looking like, what the heck? And my ex is looking like she's looking crazy because I was in the Navy at the time.
Right.
I'm like, I got a white baby? Okay, great. So, so, so I take the baby out to, I don't know if I ever told you that. I take my son out to the waiting room where her mother and my mother was waiting. And my mom slaps me. She goes, "You were white with blue eyes when they gave me to you. That's your son."
Now, now, when she adopted, no, she didn't adopt you, but when she went into her home, where were you living at that time? Were you in North Carolina?
South Carolina, Columbia, South
Okay.
Carolina.
Right,
So,
because you went to school in North Carolina.
South Carolina.
Oh, it
South,
was South Carolina. Okay, I'm sorry.
no
Um,
worries.
well, you went to Midland Technical College first.
No, no. Well, I went to, elementary, preschool, elementary, and high school, which was
Okay,
AC high
right.
school, home of the Mighty Falcons. I played basketball, and I ran cross country. And then from there, I went to Midland Technical College. I went to Benedict College for a little while, and then I went to University of South Carolina for a little while.
Right.
And then I just decided to join the Navy,
Yeah.
and
I knew you were in the Navy, but I didn't realize you were in for 10 years.
I was going to be what they call a lifer.
Well, what
Da,
happened?
da, 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 da.
And see,
No,
now you'd be getting money if you would have retired, right?
well, yeah, yeah. If I stayed in 30 years, because that was my plan. You
Okay.
know, like I tell them people in my shows, um, God plans and I mean, man plans and God laughs. My mom used to say it all the time growing up, and she was right because I plan to stay in the Navy 30 years.
Hmm. Now,
And
why is the Navy 30 years and I think the Air Force is only 20, isn't it?
well, 20 years is normal. 30 years is max.
Okay.
But my thing was 30 because I knew I would get maximum retirement, maximum bonuses, blah, blah, blah. You know,
Right.
plus I was qualified as an officer, so I was on my way to officer training.
Right.
But I'm gonna back up. When I was a kid, when mom got me, I had a lot of physical problems. I had rickets of the bones, uh, asthma, real bad chronic case of asthma, chronic case of intestinal problems. So I was in and out the hospital until I was like 9, 10 years old. And they had to break both of my legs because I was 98% disability. They classified me as retarded because I had speech impediment, which you probably still can hear a little bit.
No.
But well, at the time I had really bad speech impediment, so you couldn't understand nothing I was saying. And like I said, and rickets bones. So I was 98% disability. So they broke my legs when I was 3 or 4, maybe 5, and straightened my legs, put me in a cast for 2 years, and then I wore the Forrest Gump contraption till I was 11. Whereas the braces started at my lower half of my body and went all the way down to my feet, and I had weighted shoes on both ends.
Wow.
So I went through all of that. And when they did I guess they did what they call an intelligence test or something like that. I remember them taking me into some room and giving me a block and saying, okay, put this in the square. And I went, bloop. And I went, this kid's not retarded. You know, I remember them saying, he's not retarded. And then they tried to get me to talk, and then I couldn't speak. It says, I think he's tie-tongue. And that's
is
when,
it where the skin and your tongue? Right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really remember what happened. All I know is all of a sudden I can talk.
You know May, my girlfriend May.
Yes, of course.
Well, her grandchild had the same thing.
Wow.
The exact same thing, and it was for years. And then they finally,
figured it out.
and going to the pediatrician all the time, you would think that they would have noticed something like that,
I'm telling you, they classified me as retarded until they figured out, no, he's not retarded, just tie-tongue. And I guess they start taking me to classes. I remember the social worker coming to the house picking me up 3 times a week.
Right.
So I remember vague stuff going in and out during that period. I remember Mama put me on her knee and working my legs because I guess they told her to do that. Yeah, I remember screaming, her telling me to shut up. So, but to circumvent the music came in the. My mom was a gospel singer, so she would go to church every Sunday, leave us at home. But gospel played in our house all day long. And so I would hear the Soul Stirrers, the Mighty Clouds of Joyce. Soul Stirrers was Sam Cooke, because I always recognized his voice.
Right.
And all these different gospel singers. Ray Charles, which I didn't know it was Ray Charles.
Right.
Because I would hear Born to Lose. I used to hate that song. Because she would play it all day long. And then I can't remember the artist's name, but it starts off, put your ear closer to the phone. Put your ear closer to the phone. And I would hear that all the time, and she would play that all the time. So
oh my God, how funny.
I was in love with country music.
So, yay. Well, so you're in the Navy for 10 years and you get out. Now, were you in Hawaii? Were you in Hawaii in the Navy?
I was I was all over, but I landed, I should say, in Hawaii. I was everywhere. I was in Italy. I was in France. I was in Barcelona, Spain a lot. Hawaii was my last duty station when I started passing kidney stones. I started passing kidney stones when I first, about a year into Hawaii. And then they, I passed 8 stones. And they sent me to Pearl Harbor. The doctor said, bloop, bloop, you're out of the Navy. At the time, they were downsizing. They were trying to bring the military down. They said the military was too big at the time.
Right.
Reagan, or not Reagan, but Bush, the daddy Bush.
Bush Senior.
So, so they wanted to bring the Navy down, and they did.
And so you were in Hawaii when you got out.
I was in Hawaii when I got out, and I didn't know what I was going to do because at the same time, I was going through a lot of life changes. I was going through a divorce with my son. Robert was 6 years old at the time, and they left the island, and wasn't sure what I was going to do. You know, I had the plan of the Navy, and after the Navy, I was like, but I didn't know that the Navy was going to hire me so quickly. I had a lot of great training in the Navy, electronics-wise.
Right.
So I got hired by a government contractor, but they was going to send me back to Sumter, South Carolina, to work at a nuclear power plant.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to wait a year before I go back, which was fun for me because I said, "Cool, I'll just have."
Why'd you have to wait a year?
Because the program, I had to go back to school. They was going to send me back to school and to work at that power plant. So it was a slot situation.
Right.
But they hired me, and then I was just waiting on that to kick in, and I started hanging out with all the local Samoans. And when I joined the Navy, when I joined the Navy, I was like 145 pounds, soaking wet. When I got out, I was 240.
Oh my gosh!
I know, and everybody called me big guy. And they thought I was Samoan and Hawaiian. And so they would always talk, "Hey, brother, come hang out with us. Come hang out with us." So I did. And they took me to a karaoke bar, and that was the beginning.
So you started singing in a karaoke bar.
Yeah, didn't know it was a karaoke bar. I thought it was Japanese soup. And I was hanging out with Brother Iz. Now, Brother Iz was 700 pounds.
Wow. Was he a Samoan? Was he a Samoan?
Yeah. But I didn't know he was a star. I just knew that he could sing his butt off. And I was like, man, all these big guys can sing. Yeah. And he had extremely high tenor vocals. I knew that because I did sing a little bit on a chorus in high school. So I was the first tenor in high school. So I said, this guy has an amazing voice. Well, not only him, but it was a whole bunch of them. Mm-hmm. Didn't know I was hanging out with a bunch of Hawaiian stars. Uncle Willie K, who just passed, he was there. Fiji, which I consider a brother of mine, he was there. All of us just started to sing, me and Fiji, but the rest of them were stars.
Okay. So how long were you messing around singing with going out to the bars with your friends before you?
Only a few months. And then Peter Hernandez walked in that night, him and Bernie, his wife, and they heard me. And they said, man, he'd be perfect for our group. They had a doo-wop group called the Love Notes. Peter was from Brooklyn, New York. He's Puerto Rican.
Right.
And his wife, Bernie, was Filipino, and they had 5 kids at the time, or 4 kids at the time.
Right.
And they said to me, come and see our show, And I said, okay. And I went to Waikiki, saw the Love Note show. 7 guys, 7 girls. Man, they were amazing. 7 good-looking, slim guys with big old exaggerated pompadours. And then when the little kid walked out, I was amazed. It's this little 6-year-old kid named Bruno walks out and do Baby Elvis, and they have a whole Elvis set.
Uh-huh. How old? He was 6 at the time?
6 years old, yeah. Same age as my oldest,
Right.
And so I just immediately fell in love with them because of what I was going through. I felt abandoned by my marriage.
Right.
And then I just got medically discharged out of the Navy.
Right.
So I was going through a weird period in my life. So when I met them, they became instant family to me.
And, now, when you got a divorce, did she move back to the States?
Yeah, she went back to South Carolina.
Right. Okay.
And I cut myself off from my son for a little while just to let the divorce settle down.
Right.
Because I was a young hothead.
Not you, Bobby. Come on. Not my Bobby.
Not good.
Well, I'm glad I didn't know you then, so you got through that period.
Yeah, that's a rough period. But God was good. God was opening a new door, and I didn't know it.
Right.
Because my Navy door was closing, and I was kind of freaking out because it was closing because I wanted to do the 30 years. And so I didn't know was ahead. And I didn't really want to go back to South Carolina, to be honest. Right. I grew up there. Yeah. And that's a whole different story we have to do on another day.
Yeah.
But,
so how long were you with the Love Notes?
Joined the Love Notes, stayed with them, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, I want to say. Mm-hmm. It was 89 when they hired me.
Right.
So 3 to 5 years, I was making really good money. But I'm going to back up again.
Okay, you go right ahead, baby. It's your interview.
When I was in the Navy, I re-enlisted. and they gave me a service reenlistment bonus of $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was happy. 6 months after I reenlisted, that put me at 10 years. Yeah. So they reenlisted me for 6, gave me a $30,000 reenlistment bonus. I would have been 16 years if I stayed in. And of course, growing up in the church, I remember a lot what I was taught. I used to be a Sunday school teacher. I was on the trustee board. I was very involved in church. I was on the Reverend James Cleveland Gospel Choir. They put me way in the back. You could never hear me. Chapter out of Columbia. And so when I was tired of the Navy. I was having a rough time with my marriage. And I remember standing on the back of the fantail. The fantail is the end of the ship. We would have 22-hour, 24-hour days when we were working. But I would find a solemn place at the back of the ship where I look at the ocean and I start singing. And I did that for about 2-3 months. And I said, okay, God, you said try you. I'm going to try you. I want to sing for a living. I want out of this marriage. I want out of the Navy. I want a new life. You said try you. This is impossible. I'm trying you. I remember that.
And then he gave you kidney stones. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
6 months later, I started passing kidney stones. And the doctor, they did a biological walk up and said, we can't explain why you have stones. You shouldn't have any stones. But move on down the line. 3 years down the line, I'm on 11 notes. I'm really super happy. I gave up the job in South Carolina after a year of being on 11 because that's what I wanted to do. And I started taking vocal lessons, started losing weight, blah, blah, blah. And I'm singing and I'm having a good time. Do I? And all of a sudden tears started running down my eyes. And I didn't even know why I was crying. And I remember Johnny Valentine, Bruno's uncle, looking down the line at me like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But he's not, and I'm like, I'm good. And then I had a dialogue going in my head. And I was like, how did I get here? And I was like overjoyed. It was joy coming out of me. How did I get here? And the voice was so resounding. It was like he was right in front of me. He said, "'Cause you asked me."
I love that.
And I was like, that's when I knew God was real, but that's when I really knew God was real in my life, because he said very loudly, "'Cause you asked me." And I forgot. And it took me all the way back to the fantail, me singing to the ocean, and the ocean was my audience.
Right.
So it's a crazy dream. So,
and the heavens, the ocean and the heavens.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, on a clear night, you can see very clearly as the moon lights up the whole ocean. Yeah. So it was just crazy. And so from there, once I realized that, I said, okay, now I want to be an artist. And he goes, okay, let's get to it.
Right. So, okay, so let's go back to Tony. You did how many CDs have you recorded with Tony?
Oh, just one. Okay. Me and Tony are no longer working together, but I'm working on my second CD now.
Okay. Now, do you have new management?
No management. Just I don't really need
booking agents from.
I got different booking agents now, and also I'm working with a music advisor.
Okay.
Who's helping select the music, helping me get it recorded and get it played.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm working with some good people now, and I'm looking forward to the future, whatever the future brings. Right now, the COVID-19 put everything to a halt.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm just working on the book and working on these other things that I started. That I never.
I didn't realize you opened for Bruno. When did you open for Bruno?
2010. He did
10 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, he did a homecoming show. The record label wanted to film him going back home
in Hawaii.
Going back home in Hawaii, and they called me and said, "Hey man, want to open for Bruno?" I went, "Let me think." Yeah.
No, I'm busy.
He's great.
Honey, thank you for taking the time out of your morning, because I know you probably didn't go to bed till really late.
I still watching movies, whatever. My mind is working at night, so. Yeah, but thank you for having me on, and I wish you a lot of success and luck with what you're doing. And
thanks,
are you recording another album, or are you doing something different?
I'm not planning to do another CD anytime soon. You know,
Mm.
we'll see. I don't know. You never know what's down the pike.
That's right. You just got to go with it.
Right now, I'm just trying to stay safe and not get that coronavirus, as we all are.
I haven't gone out yet.
Yeah. You know, not even to a grocery store or anything?
Well, I'll go to the grocery store, but that's it.
Right.
You know? Yeah. No, I haven't hung out or anything like that. And I just want to be careful because when it's time to go to work, I'm ready to go to work.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not risking it.
Yeah. Well, I love you, honey, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
Mwah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, honey. Love you.